Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to take a look at one of the many different warbands in Age of Sigmar Warcry. We're going to take a look at all the fighters available to this warband, what they do on the tabletop, the abilities the warband has, and how to build a foursome on the tabletop as well. Along with this we'll look at some interesting ally options as well for the warband. In today's video, we're going to take a look at getting started with the Soulblight Gravelords in Warcry using the Bladeborn warband Zondara's Gravebreakers, one of the many warbands from Warhammer Underworlds able to be used in Warcry. Today's video is sponsored by Gap Games, a fantastic miniature wargaming store in Queensland, Australia. They stock a wide variety of miniature wargames from all things Games Workshop to some of my personal favourites, Conquest of the Last Argument of Kings, and all things Modifius wargames as well. Use our affiliate code in the link below to help support both this fantastic store and the channel as well. The first of the warband's abilities is a reaction called Lost Love. Only Zondara, Rivenheart or Lost Verlaine can make this reaction, and only after the other one of them has been slain. When this reaction is made, you can add 1 to the fighter's move and 2 to the fighter's attack actions for the rest of the game. Next we have Gravebreaking. This is a double action that can only be used by Zondara. All 3 of the minion Rumark fighters from the Gravebreakers that are within 3 inch of an objective can make a bonus attack action, and any that are not on an objective can instead make a bonus move action. Devoted Strike is a triple ability. This can only be used by Lost Verlaine. You add 2 to the attacks and strength of Lost Verlaine's attack actions so long as the target is an enemy fighter within 3 inch of Zondara. Lastly is our quad ability for the warband, and this can only be used by Zondara. Both herself and Lost Verlaine can make a bonus move or bonus attack action. Leading the Bladeborn warband is Zondara Rivenheart. She's a solid enough leader with toughness 4 and 20 wounds, an okay combat weapon and short range but powerful shooting attack. The leader Rumark she has will give her access to the abilities we've mentioned previously, and also give her the ability to bring back a minion Rumark fighter that's been taken out of action. Her Mystic Rumark will give her access to another 2 abilities as well. Firstly, Necrotic Siphon to steal a friendly minion's health and heal herself, and secondly, Van Hell's Dance Macabre, which can allow nearby minions to make some bonus actions. Next is Zondara's Cursed Beloved, Lost Verlaine. Verlaine has a solid toughness of 4 and 25 wounds, making for a second high wound fighter in the warband. His Agile Rumark will give him access to the Devoted Strike ability, and also a generic Soulblight Gravelords ability called Vampiric Agility, which will enable for a double the fighter to ignore vertical distance when moving. In melee, Verlaine has a very nice 5 attacks at strength 4, doing 2 damage a hit or a whopping 6 if a critical hit is rolled. First up for the minion Rumark fighters from this warband is Toil. Thanks to the minion Rumark, this fighter will be able to use the Soulblight Gravelord's double ability Shambling Horde, which can allow the fighter to make a free move as if they were near a friendly hero. And then Toil also has a nice strength of 4 for his 2 attacks, and out of all the fighters he does have the most consistent damage values. Joining Toil is Pick. Like Toil, this model has a minion Rumark and a strength of 4 for his 2 attacks in melee. Again, like Toil, this model has a 2 inch range for its main melee weapon, but its damage values are much more spiky, doing 1 damage regularly or 4 on a crit. Lastly, we have Crack Tomb. This fighter again has the minion Rumark, but does only have a 1 inch range for its melee attacks, and they're at a strength of 3. However, this model does have the highest critical damage value of all of Zondara's minion, doing 5 damage on its critical hits. The first model we're going to look to add to the force is a Vampire Lord. This model brings a really solid fighter to the force with good defenses as well. It has the Fly Rumark as it turns into a bunch of bats to move easily around the battlefield, as well as the leader Rumark. The terrifying Runemark it has as well is the last of 3 Runemarks that it has, and this Runemark in particular will allow the vampire to use a triple ability called Call of the Crimson Feast, which will give all models nearby an extra attack. Next up we have the Vargskir. This model has a solid defense of 4 and a whopping 32 wounds. Its strength of 5 is something not all that common in Soulblight Gravelords in Warcry, and it does have 2 attacks, but these are at a mighty damage of 3-6. The model also has the Agile rune mark to allow it to use an ability to ignore vertical distances when moving, much like the Vampire Lord. Skeleton Warrior with Ancient Spear, and this is the last fighter we're going to look to include. There is an alternative weapon option for your skeletons, but I think the higher critical damage and the extra reach is better than the extra attack you'll get with the other option. Considering we have plenty of ways to boost the model's attacks in the warband, this model will be serving us well. The model has the minion rune mark, which means it can be brought back from the dead by Zondara as well. At least today, we're going to be playing with the Soulblight Gravelords. For our leaders, we have two of them, Zondara Rivenheart and a Vampire Lord. For our fighters, we start off with the strong Lost Fellain. We then have the three members of the Gravebreakers that are minions, Toil, Pick and Cracktomb. And lastly, we have our Warcy and Skeleton Warrior with Ancient Spear joining them for a solid bunch of fighters and some good little minions. Battle Group 1 will be Zondara Rivenheart with Toil and Cracktomb. This gives her some minions she can bring back and also 2-inch range weapons on everyone there. Battle Group 2 will be the Vampire Lord Pick and Skeleton Warrior with Ancient Spear. And lastly, Battle Group 3 will be Lost Fellain and the Warcy, our two big heavy hitters. We hope that this video was helpful in getting you started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry, and that I was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to start your own force in the game. If you have any other questions at all, please comment them down below and we'll endeavour to get back to you. And while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe and join our Discord server as well, linked in the video's description, for all our future Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry content.